Welcome back, Tribe. Got one here from Diary of CEO. Number one, couple therapist. Start talking about setting unreal expectations when looking for a partner.
Of expectations and how expectations are evolving. I found some stats. I think some of them are very much inspired by your first book, Marry Him. One of them is that 80% of women want to date a man over 6 foot tall when only 15% of men are over 6 foot tall.
Yes, that's in the book.
I found some other studies. An eHarmony study found that 40% of single people have deal breakers that are associated with physical appearance, and 50% of singles expect their partner to be their best friend, soulmate, and to fulfill all of their emotional needs. That was a study done by Match.com. And then the other ones that I found quite interesting were, you talk about in the book how this sort of generational shift in expectations and where that's come from. But in like my granddad's generation, or even my dad's generation, I would assume they wouldn't have had the same set of impossible expectations, I would assume. Is that what you found in your research?
I think everybody wants to feel that really deep connection with their partner. And so I think that the way that society has improved is that we are not just marrying for sort of practicality, but we are also marrying because we genuinely enjoy being with this person and want to go through life with this person. But I think what we're losing a little bit is, do our values align? Like, the practical part matters. So I think the pendulum swung in the other direction, went from almost pretty much all practical to now it's all like, is this person my soulmate and do they move me? And I think you have to have both. I'm really attracted to this person's essence. And what I mean by essence is most people will say, this is, I don't know where the study came from, but I remember reading this study, that most people will say that the person that they chose to spend their lives with is not the most attractive person they ever dated. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of people say, well, I wouldn't want my partner to think that, but you're more attractive to your partner holistically. That's why they chose you. That's why you chose them. That's why you're together. So it's not just about, is this the person who was the most, the hottest person you've ever dated? And so I think we really have to think about holistically, who do we want to be with? And that's what kind of trips us up, because the practical side matters. Do you have similar ideas about the kind of life you want to live? Do you have similar ideas about how, if you want to have kids or if you don't want to have kids, and how many you might want to have, where you want to live, what kinds of things you want to do in your lives, what matters to you, who you are in the world, political beliefs. Often people say, well, that doesn't matter as much. I think when you have very different views, not necessarily about like what political party you're with, but more about how you see the world. If you see the world very, very differently, that can cause a lot of problems in the relationship later on, not because you're fighting about the world, but because those differences will show up in the way you treat each other.
I hear you saying all of that, and I have to say I agree, and I think everyone would really agree because it makes perfect sense. But in reality, I was thinking about, if I turn to some of my friends that are really struggling with dating right now, and I said all of that to them, I don't think any of it would work, because they are so hardwired to be in search of this like perfect person.
Yeah. Because that's the narrative society pushes. When she was saying all those things that we should be looking for, mix in some of the practicality stuff, not the surface level stuff, the my special someone, that's just not what people are looking for, because that's not what we value in the world today. Just look at TikToks, just look at shorts, just look at women talking on the internet, just look at what they're looking after. Women have a 1,000,000-point checklist of what a man has to have, and it's all materialistic, superficial stuff. It's not about how well he'll treat me, how his relationship with his father was, with his mother. It's like, is he 6 foot tall? Does he have abs? Can he facilitate my dreams? Does he make millions of dollars? Does he have a big meat hammer? You know what I mean? It's just like things that do matter, of course, but not make or break. Like if a man's earning like $80,000 a year, ladies, is that so unattractive? If a man has a cubicle job and he makes $50,000-$60,000 a year, and that's about the same that you make, you probably make a little less, who knows, maybe a little more. Is that really a deal breaker? Are you really going after the over 6 foot tall guy when only 15% of the population is over 6 feet? Yet 80% of the women are looking after this guy? You really want to be doing that? Okay, well, I understand, biologically speaking, you got to maximize the genetic potential of your offspring, so you'll do anything and everything, even when it's illogical, to get there. That is why women typically will entertain these bums, drug dealer, felony, murder dudes like on death row. They'll write them love letters. Guys that are absolutely jacked full of tattoos, 7 baby mamas, because they're just, maybe they were born handsome. Maybe they just got genetically gifted. And a woman will throw away any rational thought about why may not be the best mate, why this guy isn't actually a good father, and just boom, all of a sudden you end up a single mother by that guy with the 6'4" tattoos and a rap sheet. Genetic potential, it got hit. And going back on the societal front, part of this is social engineering. Part of it is just the depravity and the softness of the modern world. We're very hedonistic and we want pleasure now. And beautiful people are pleasurable to look at, and beautiful people are hard to get and not very common. And so everybody's after them, both men and women. And we're all chasing, practically statistically speaking, the impossible and getting burned in the process. But only one side of the aisle is being deluded into thinking that they deserve to get the top percentile of the other gender. Men know from the get-go, like you can have a pinup poster on your wall when you're a little kid, like a teenager, right? Or you could have a calendar with like the hottest like swimsuit models, and you understand that like that's top tier women. In order to get top tier women, you got to be in like a supercar, you got to have millions of dollars, you got to be tall, handsome, James Bond type, mysterious, yada, yada, yada. Men are told that you need to acquire all these things in order to get a top tier woman. On the other side, women are told that they're fine as they are, that they're God's gift to earth, that you could be a land whale, 5'2", 400 pounds, no, you're full blown diabetic at that point. You live on processed food. You're a burden on the oxygen around you, and you deserve the 6'4" NFL MVP of the year, Chad. You deserve. You're a thick queen. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine men having the equivalent of a thick queen? And then society reinforces by having thick models, plus size models, fat ass mannequins in front of stores to just coax and goad and get them to purchase these products as a fat person and get them to feel better about themselves and coddle them a little bit. Yeah, it's okay to be a disgusting slob. Here's semaglutide. Here's Wegovy. Here's a pill you can take. Here's a little shot you can take. We'll solve all your problems, queen. You don't have to work out. You don't have to go to the gym. Spend this money. And this is where the imbalance is coming from, because one side doesn't live in reality. Their demands are too high, and they're about to talk. Oh, let's just let them talk about we're too picky on dating apps. Now women are too picky on dating apps. When
I speak to some of my friends who are single and they're over 35, they've really like never been in a relationship before. The things that they say as reasons for why they're not giving this person a chance are so unbelievably petty. Like I have one friend, and she knows who she is. She's a very good friend of mine. She's been a good friend of mine for more than a decade.
Woman,
shout out to your friend.
Yeah, but I was on her profile once, and she told me that the reason she wasn't going to give this guy a chance on this dating app was because in the back of the picture that his display picture, he had boxes on top of his cupboard. And she was like, oh God, he puts boxes on top of his cupboard. Like, so that's why she didn't give him a chance.
So here's the thing. What happens is people look at dating profiles and they're going through the apps. And I think, men and women tend to do this a little bit differently. Men are like, am I attracted to this person? Swipe.
Do you see what I mean? This is a very mainstream podcast, very mainstream channel in general. And they have obviously mainstream guests, and they always have to word it this way. You have to be so careful in order to break through the mainstream. We're too picky on dating apps. Women are too picky on dating apps. Statistically, we know this. And then she just said it right there. Again, just can't say. We can't put the blame on the other side. They're blameless. They're absolved of all consequences and agency. You can't just say like women have a problem when it comes to picking men. Women are far too picky. They have too many requirements. Their demands are too high. You can't say that. Literally, you can't. It's wild. Which
also doesn't necessarily work out for them. Like they're not really looking for who do I want to be with. And women do the opposite. They look at it they'll look at all the pictures. They'll read everything that the person wrote as if, do I want to marry this person potentially or not? As opposed to, do I want to spend 45 minutes having coffee with this person? Mm-hmm. That's really different. And also on a first date, it's the same mentality where a lot of people think, like people will come in to therapy or even friends will say, I went on this date. I had a good time. It was fun. I don't know. I didn't feel chemistry. I didn't feel like butterflies. I didn't feel that what I feel like I should feel. So I'm not going to go out with him again.
It's interesting because they're very much so disconnected from the reality. She may be the number one couples therapist, But people that are using dating apps, especially the younger generation, Gen Z and whoever else, the 18 through 25 or 30 crowd, a lot of the women have fully bought into fourth wave feminism. A lot of those women say, I don't want kids. A lot of those women say, I'm just here for hooking up. I don't want anything serious. Don't catch feelings. Their relationship little thing on the profile will say, looking for short term. Don't have kids, don't want kids. And that's very common. It's not monogamy and long-term relationships or looking for marriage. They don't put that on there. And that's not what they want. And you can tell by the conversation. They're willing to come over right away. They're willing to go on the date. And then the hookah and chill afterwards, Netflix and chill afterwards. The dynamics have completely changed to what the people this age think people are looking for, because that's what they grew up in. And they think people are still looking for the same thing. It's completely different. You are not finding marriage-minded women on dating apps, unless they're far older, 30 plus, post-wall, and need a bailout. The rest of the women are looking to have fun. They're looking to play the field, experience as much as possible, matching the top guys they can, and doing all the things they've dreamed of doing. Marriage is an afterthought. And quite literally, the statistics say the same thing. It's bullshit, her statement, because statistically speaking, women only swipe right on the top 5 percentile of men. And what are those guys? Usually Chads. Actually, 100% of the goddamn time, they're Chads. They're either extremely attractive or very attractive and has money. That's it. So the whole, I'm going to look through your profile for marriage. I'm going to flip through and see your bio. And if you have a misspelled word next, yeah, they'll next you for a misspelled word, but it's only after you're a Chad. That's what is the foundation of all this. Women are actively looking for the best genetic potential, period. They're looking for the hot guy, and then they'll begin to filter him out or not against all the other hot guys. Oh, this one has a yacht. Oh, this one has a Ferrari. Oh, this one's 6'5". Oh, this one's only 6'2", but he's got a couple of million. Oh, this one looks really interesting. Wow, this one smiles incredible. What they don't say is all these guys are the top 5 percenters. Because if you're a normal looking dude, if you're an average dude, hell, below average, kiss your ass goodbye. You're getting swiped, bro. And it doesn't matter where you go in the world. I know people that have moved to Romania. I know dudes that are coming from other countries, Western guys that didn't have any luck, the passport bro types, thinking they would here. At least in Bucharest, I can tell you right now, it's expensive. The glory days of Eastern Europe are gone for you boys looking to cash in on poverty. It's not going to happen. The women here won't give you any shot. The cultural rift is too strong. Their parents actually matter as far as like they want you to marry in the culture, be one of them as well. But their standards are also high as hell. You got the stereotypical Eastern European gold digger. So I had guys that have come here, I've talked to them, and they have absolutely no luck, 0 matches or very little. Or the matches they do get are low quality chicks. And they're struggling. And they're struggling because of those high demands. And they're all over the world. It's a biological imperative. It's not just societal. Societal has pushed it into delusion land, where it's like you're a 4'11" land willy demanding top tier men. That's delusion land. At least the women here will actually give the normal nice guy a shot. But that's the only difference. If you're still the average or below average dude, you're struggle. You're struggle city, bro. It's nothing but handicaps for you. You're going to have a hard time. So the only thing you can do is self-improve. So be careful. Don't get fooled thinking you can, magic pill your way out of your situation without putting in work. You will not. You'll be in for a rude awakening traveling all over the place. Unless you're okay with low tier women. If you like the low tier women, go travel, bro, because you'll get plenty of them. But if you actually want to get somebody you're proud of, somebody you want to show off on your arm and not hide from the boys, it's only one way to get the pinup model. Got to compete.
And I'll say, well, why don't you just go spend, another hour with this person and get to know this person and see if something develops? No, right? And so, but it's like you had a good time. You did think, they said, I did think he was attractive, but I didn't feel chemistry. So it's interesting because there's a study in Marry Him where it was a longitudinal study, and it followed people from the time that they met their partner, like that first date, all the way through. They checked in with them every 5 years for, I think, 20 years. And what happened was they found that the people who were very happy together had kind of revisionist history about what it was like on their first date. So people who were really happily married said, oh yeah, I knew immediately. I felt immediate chemistry with this person. I knew this person was the one. But if you go back to what they reported at the time, often they reported at the time, yeah, nice person, not sure. Okay. But they've changed the story. They really truly believe that they felt something different, but we have data saying, no, you didn't. On the other hand, if people did not last, if people are divorced, that kind of thing, they will say, oh, I was never attracted to the person, or I knew there were red flags in the beginning. But that's not what they reported at the time. At the time, they reported, wow, this person's amazing. So it's really interesting that people use the first date as like, I'm supposed to feel this one thing or else forget it, when people who are very, very happy together, totally in love, totally attracted to each other, often didn't feel those sparks on the first 1, 2, 3 dates. Maybe they were even friends for a while. But people don't give each other the chance to get to know the other person or to let the other person get to know you. And I think that because the apps give this illusion of so many people are juggling multiple people at a time. So someone will go on a date with someone and then they'll say, yeah, that was fine. Maybe it was like a 7. So, nah. And then they're like, I have another date tomorrow. Or they're leaving the date and they're walking to their car and they're swiping on the apps already. Because they have the illusion that there's so many people out there. But if you just keep juggling people, you're never going to get to know anybody and to know if that person is someone.
Paradox of choice. Leave him. Sis, if he's not perfect, if he doesn't provide everything I need right then and there, if he's not an alpha simp is what they're looking for, next. Swipe on the next one. This is the damage dating apps have done. And look, I found this article here because I was looking for this, just so you could see how much they're looking for marriage. They're more holistically looking at men. Absolute BS. Only 15% of women show interest in 5'8" men on dating apps, while over 60% of women are interested in dating men over 6 feet tall. So holistically, out the window. If you at 5'8" only are getting 15% interest. As they scroll down your profile and they look at height and they go, nope. The rest of your profile's gone. Oh, he's kind of cute. Oh, 5'8". Nope. Wow. Holistic dating there. Great. And then you have almost 60% of women were willing to consider a man who was 6 feet tall. Willing to consider. That number dropped to 30% for men 1 inch below the 6 foot threshold, 15 for 5'8". On the opposite end, men who were 6'5" met the requirements of nearly 95% of women. Guys, look at these charts. Look at the charts with your own eyeballs. This right here is 6 feet. This right here, 6 feet. We have the nearly 60%. You get, if you are 6'5" or 6'6", you're approaching the 90 percentile. 6'6", bro. You got NBA stats. Great. They even got 7 foot here. Unreal. So you need to be at basically 6'2" or taller to get into the 75 percentile and up. And then this is negligible from 75 to 90 right here. But basically, there's a decent jump from about 6 foot. What is that? 6 foot, right around 6. That's the magic number, dude. Look at the holistic dating. I mean, the difference between 5'11" and 5'10" doesn't matter. Practically invisible. The moment the number turns to 6, absolutely tremendous jump up. And then you get into the high ranges here where you're just acceptable by everybody. So that's the magic number. You got to be 6 feet or taller. And we've known that statistically, and we've known that anecdotally of just talking to women, what women say they prefer on all the videos they make. And this is Tinder's data on the swipe frequency, the statistics. So you can see right here, women pass on 95% of men and only like 5%. It's the Pareto principle of 80-20 is non-existent anymore. Remember how I said we've entered into Dulu land is how they love to say it. This is complete delusion that the majority of women will only swipe on the top 5% of men, while men are swiping a more even 53-47. And by the way, when you further broke this down by actual meeting up and successfully having a date, that number goes to 2%. So of the 5% of matches, 3% of women never responded back to the guys, and only 2% of those went on a date successfully. So it's actually 98 to 2%. That's the principle we're in today. The Dulu principle, that's what it should be called. 98-2. The Dulu principle of modern dating. That's what it should be known as. But yet we can't have this conversation in society today. The actual truth that the delusion of one side of the aisle has gotten so extreme that only a handful of men in the entire area that they're living in would qualify for them. Yet they themselves do not even qualify for a below average man. They're either broke, they have a low paying job, their IQ is too low, they don't take care of their bodies, they're short, they're fat. They're just dumb to talk to. They have no experiences in their life. They're not cultured. They're combative. They're aggressive. They have zero discipline. They can't do long-term goal planning. I mean, people that are absolutely just bottom rung disgusting, yet they think they deserve like a supermodel man. Like he has to be, I deserve a billionaire. You got crusty ass Dorito lips. What are you talking about? You deserve a billionaire. This is crazy, dude. We're talking crazy talk. This is why this content even exists today, because it's gotten so out of hand. I don't know how many more do we got to really play pretend for how many more years until we actually start to put the onus on women? We'll just keep blaming men. In the meantime, it's all your fault, boys. You need to step your game up. You're not financially, what was the word that they were using? Economically attractive men. That's the term that they were using in yesterday's video. There's not enough economically attractive men amongst the other million variables that you need to jump through and pass the hoops of modernity. And that's why so many men are just checking out, going their own way, completely done. No point in trying. The odds are not just stacked against me. The game is rigged itself. So there's no point, especially when you involve the long arm of the law. And you can see how sideways a marriage goes once you hit divorce, once you have to go through child custody courts. Yeah, so men are checking out. Or for the men that actually want a woman in their lives that understand the importance of having a family, they're just straight up overseas. That's it. Either importing a wife, going to different cultures that still actually respect and appreciate men, or completely becoming expats and just getting away from, again, the broken board, flipping it over and saying, I'm out then completely. I'm going to vote with my feet in my wallet. I'm not partaking in this. You guys don't represent me. The next portion of this says, high expectations, can they be lowered? Let's just see. I'm curious.
Who has higher expectations typically, men or women? And who is most likely or most willing to adjust their expectations?
I think it really depends on the person.
You see? Do you see, man? This is why I don't like these type of podcasts, having these types of conversations, because it's, look, dude, the sisterhood defending her. She's a great writer. Her book is really good. It's called Just Marry Him, I believe. Basically telling women to settle down. But even she can't just outright say what we know, what the statistics bear out as facts. Women are delusional when it comes to selecting men. Canceled. Gotta sell books. Gotta get podcast appearances. Gotta get on TV. Gotta plug my products. Gotta make a living. I understand, lady and dude. I get it. You gotta feed your family. You can't push this on the mainstream too much, too bluntly. You have to just slip it in there. I think it matters on the individual. Go on.
And I think that the expectations are higher in different areas. I think for men,
fence sitting. And then it goes to me. I think for men,
the expectations are very high around physical appearance. And I think for the younger generation, especially because they're growing up on all of these thirst traps that are posted on social media, and they're seeing all of these girls just posting, all of these.
Men swipe on half the women. When men rate attractiveness of women, the average woman is seen as attractive to men. Who is the superficial one here?
Really provocative pictures that have been filtered, that have been, it took them 30 shots to get that one shot that they put up. And so when they see people in real life and what they really are like on a day-to-day basis, they have these very unrealistic expectations. And I think that's different from in the past when you saw many more people in real life.
Wow, bro. That's how we're going to open up that one with. You see, boys, told you it's your fault. You guys got high expectations. You've been thirst trapped to death. You think women look like some caricature of their online selves. You clearly just don't want to get it in. You won't give a woman a shot that would be willing to just rub your back, cook you food. Thank you for taking her out to dinner. Would you as a man overlook the little MySpace angle in the filter if she turned out to have an incredible personality and really appreciated you and made you feel like, you're a man and takes care of you in the way a feminine woman would? Yeah, I think you would. I think most men would say yes. Can you see the opposite of that happening? I never seen a chick pick up a McDonald's worker and go, he was so cute. He was so nice to me. And yeah, he works at McDonald's, but there's more to it than just his job. No, they're absolutely disgusted by people that work in fast food because they're considered low tier to women. That's what it is. The guy's working hard. He's busting his ass. That may be a pit stop for the greater things he has waiting in life. She's not going to wait to find out. She's at the finish line and only the winners get there. And that's who she chooses from. And that's the game of life. A dude will be a millionaire, stop by a McDonald's on 4 a.m., late night, some party, If he sees a smoke show, if she happens to work there, that's it. He's getting her number and he's going, holy hell, this chick is hot. What are you doing at McDonald's, woman? Are you serious? Let me change your life. Do you got a man? Actually, get out of here. Your shift ends today. Boom, get in the Lambo. Like, a guy will actually pull that move off if he finds a woman attractive. Unbelievable, dude. Again, look, Kasha, a chick. This is the best CEO podcast I ever watched. Ay, dude. Cutting edge interviews, really valuable content. There you go. If you thought we were mainstream yet, just understand that we're scratching the surface. When they start to talk about us, that's when we're entering the mainstream, but we're nowhere near mainstream. At least the ideals that we're spouting, at least the truth that we're talking about. And then here's a woman that is a little bit burnt on her predicament. Everything that we've talked about right here. So practically, the people who don't marry between 28 and 32, women mostly, they don't have any chance for a good relationship, ? This is also my case because I had a really traumatic childhood. It took me a while to heal and be able to think of a better life. What were you doing in your 20s and all the way to your 30s? And now, when I finally feel better at 36, we all know why. Lori tells me that I probably, no, don't capitalize probably, you did. Lost my chance of a happy relationship? Lovely. And then someone copes. Again, this is how women help delude themselves. Don't believe in the BS. You did the work to heal and are probably more likely to have a lasting relationship than people in their 20s who don't know who they are or what they want. Stats don't account for individuals. Anyways, dude, I keep telling you guys, pay attention. Share the videos. We do get suppressed. Open the mind of your friends. We got dudes the people that find this channel, you don't know the funniest way people find this channel? Breakups. I get messages from so many dudes. I just got divorced. I'm back in the game. It's been years. Watching your channel has helped me. I had a girlfriend. She cheated on me. I had a girlfriend. We broke up. My relationship didn't work out. My marriage doesn't work out. I'm having trouble with women. And that's the dudes that find this content. There's so many new eyeballs that enter the game every single day from relationships crashing and burning. You would be shocked, dude. Keep sharing, boys. It is helping the men out there. For yous that have been watching for a long time, you already know the narratives, you already know the messaging, you already know what to look for. You understand the womanese and the doublespeak. Good for you. Appreciate you for tuning in. But just understand that when you do tune in and you maybe help break past the algorithm, some new dude that just got thrust into this world based on his crash and burn experience of his intimate life is about to open his eyes to a whole new world of truth. That is why we keep doing this. Shout out to the guy that emailed me his life story last night. I enjoyed reading that. And welcome, brother. Remember, 6 days in the gym, 1 day off, eat clean, work out nonstop, do your cardio, start to read some books, take some time and heal yourself. A long road ahead of you. Take care, boys.